Uruguay, USA. Close enough. So if you scroll down, right now, you see the people who have the standard. The people in the world ranking quota are Gregoric and Prekel. And if you notice, Cole Hawker there is in 42nd place. So I believe it's top 40 or 40, I think, make it to the Olympics. Regardless. So if you click on Hawker's profile, just click on his name, Travis. You'll see it pop up, and you can see his current resume. So it's his 5 best performances. It includes his 350 indoor mile, includes NCAA indoors 353, includes his outdoor 335, the Oregon Twilight 336, and the Hayward Premier 338. If you look at it, they all have different points. It's really weird because that Hayward Premier meet is rated differently from an indoor meet versus an out. It's all stupid, whatever. But if you look at it, right now, his weakest performance is the Hayward Premier meet, where he ran 338.9, which gave him 1,135 points, which brings his average down because his average right now is 1205. He needs to bump that number out. So he needs to replace that 1135 with another like 1200 type performance. And in order to get that 1200 type performance, he needs to be probably in the 336, 335 range because USA's is a B category meet. So that's what he needs to do. He needs to, he can't be running 339s. He needs to be running at least one more 335. Even better if he runs 2 335s, but at least one.
I'm seeing that 45, the field size is 45 for the Olympics. Okay,
so the reason why he's 42nd and not in is because there are people who are taking up spots that are like the charity spot. Hey, you get one person per country. So you're in?
Well, it says, well, what I'm reading here, it says, in addition to the 45 qualifying through timer, this is Wikipedia. In addition to the 45 qualifying through timer ranking, then they add in the universality athletes.
Okay. Well, if you go back to the top, Travis, this is a fun little podcast. We're talking about click changes so all countries are there visible instead of just USA, and you'll see what happens. Just change it all. Okay. So basically the left rail is the order of pretending there's only 3 per country. So people get in on time, you scroll down, you keep on scrolling down, and then you'll get to the unbolded, which are the people who aren't in the. So right now, all these people have the standard, so they're in. So the number of people who get in via the standard, if you keep going, get down to the people who are in the world ranking quota. Boom, right there. So back up a little bit to the top. This is a great podcast if you're listening to it. So right now, so there are 39 people. When you only take 3 per country, have the standard, right? And you need to get to a field of 45. So that Benjamin Nzema takes up 40, accepted universality place. Then 41 goes to a ranking person. 42 goes to a ranking person. 43, ranking person. So 45, you see the points he needs to hit. If you scroll down to 45, I can't see his mind.
1208.
So he's literally the first one out. So 1208 is the last man in points-wise, and he has 1205. So he needs to improve by 3 points on his average. He's the first one out.
So
Charles Grethen has the so makes sense?
Okay, so we could assume that his performances would bump him up in the trials if he gets top 3?
But if it's a slow top 3, it won't bump him. It needs to be a fast top 3. Like if third is like 340, I don't think that will be good enough.
Okay, so I think you confuse people more. So what's the bottom line here after doing this deep dive?
Well, obviously you need to be top 3 in order to go, but in either tomorrow's race or the final, he needs to run 336, 335 to be safe. 335 lock, 336 likely, 337 on the bubble, 338, I don't know. That's the scale of times.
Okay. Gotcha.
Obviously 334 and it's guaranteed because that's the standard. So
okay. So that's good to know going in because that will be a storyline for sure. And then just so people know, we're not doing the chasing thing this time.
Yeah, there's no chasing.
So he's got 2 chances.
Yeah.
Semi,
tomorrow, and the final.
And that's it. And beating, if you win, but and you beat Matt Centrowitz and Craig Engels, and you win by 10 seconds in the most impressive Olympic trials performance ever, but it was weird and tactical, you're not going to get any credit for that, correct?
No.
We're just looking at times.
Because you do get credit for your place, right? You do get a little more credit for second over third, but the baseline is the time you ran.
Time. Yeah.
Winning with a 4 flat 1500 would be detrimental, right? You need a win with a decent time.
Third with a 336 would be better than first with a 350.
350. Yeah, correct.
Cool.
That's weird, right?
There you go. It is weird, but I'm glad you did the deep dive there. I'm sure Travis will post that everywhere so everyone has a really long explainer about what to watch for in the next 2 heats.
It's funny seeing him be the first one out right there, that visual.
Yeah, for sure. He's sitting right on the bubble. But I mean, what more could he have done? It's not like he never ran this year, and it's not like he never took advantage of the opportunities to run fast. Twilight was fast. NCAAs were all fast. Just not quite fast enough. I guess if he had a longer season. But
let's do a little experiment. So Cole Hawker, we see his resume, his 350s, 335s. Let's look at Charles Grethen's resume, who just happens to be right above him.
Luxembourg.
So this is Charles Grethen. He has a 336, a 338, 339, and 2 337s. So I would argue Cole Hawker's resume is much better, but if you notice, he did all these marks at higher degree meets, aka an A-level meet, a C-level meet, whereas Cole Hawker is doing it in his backyard. It's considered an F-level meet. So even though Cole is running faster, he's not getting as much credit for it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Hawker won NCAAs, but Mr. Grethen got second at the Internationals Flingen Sportfest Boongartenstadion in Reelingen. So who's to say who's the better runner, really?
The 56th annual version of that.
Sorry. My apologies to the storied history of that great meet. Okay, and a little history lesson here, too, for the young people out there. World rankings, they're new. If this was the old way, it would be standard or nothing. So then Hawker would go in knowing in the next 2 rounds, he needs to run that time, break that 335, or he's not going, and it would go to the next fastest or the highest placer with the standard. That's who it would go to. So if in 4th place it was Josh Thompson, then Josh Thompson would get to go. Or if there was nobody there until 7th or 8th place, it would go to that finisher. That's how it used to be done. And every Olympic trials, it seemed like there would be some sort of standard issue with the men's 1500. And they'd always say they were going to run fast, and they never would. Now, Hawker, different type of dude. I feel like Hawker would go out and do it. And we've seen, obviously, prelim time is PR time this year for Nagus and others. So we've seen people go real big in the prelims. I think he would have the capability to actually get it done. And if he did, I'd send him one of my shirts that I'm now selling for limited time only at the FloTrack podcast store. You can see it right there. That's actually me in Doha at the 2019 World Championships, back when we were actually at meets. Gordon, can we put that up? Alon, you got to put up my shirt, man. You got to let the people say, there we go. There
should we change it from prelim time is PR time to prelim time is update your world ranking time?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't flow off the tongue as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to another event.